All right. Hello and welcome back to another free agency prediction video here. My TV is really loud. Just give me a second.
Great skill to throw the ball 5 or 6 yards from where you're at to a tight end who could catch it nowadays, and not only just catch the ball, get you about 10 or 15 extra yards.
Okay, I'm back. So, this one I'm gonna be doing Derick Johnson and Tamba Hali. So, two guys who are up there in age, who there is a chance that they re-sign with the Chiefs. You know, that's all I can really say there. There's a chance they re-sign with the Chiefs. They're both still really good players, but I don't think they have the money to resign them both. So I'm assuming they're gonna do one and not the other. I think Derick Johnson would probably be the guy they re-sign because they got D Ford, waiting in the wings behind Tamba Hali, who I think could be really good. So before I start, the Combine officially starts today. It is Friday the 26th that I'm recording this. So that should be fun. I'll probably watch that. If I have a chance, I'll watch on NFL.com. So I don't have to go and, watch it on my TV. So, I'll start with Tamba Hali, he was still pretty good. I mean, Tamba Hali was always a pretty solid player in my mind. I never thought he was I don't think he was ever considered the best at his position at any one point in his career. But he's always been solid. So, I just have a couple teams I think could use a good pass rusher, because that's what I think he would be primarily used as. And, I mean, it's hard to find teams that are true contenders that need, pass rush really bad. So, I just have a couple teams that just need outside linebackers in general. So I'll start with Atlanta. Atlanta, probably not, because if Bruce Irving hits the market, they're probably going to make a push at him. So I think Dan Quinn would probably make a push for Bruce Irving. But if he doesn't, and Tamba Hali doesn't get a new contract, there's a good chance that they pursue him. They need pass rush bad. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just truly focus on pass rush in the draft this year. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Atlanta's a good team. They have a solid offense. They just need good defense. They just need to find some pieces on defense. Next is the Giants. The Giants' linebacking core is basically shot at this point. Now that John Beeson, I'm pretty sure, has announced his retirement. So now John Beeson's gone. They need some help. They need some help at outside linebacker. They just need help everywhere at this point. But he could run in. He could fill a number one pass rush role at this point in his career with the Giants. Now that Pierre Paul's probably going to be out the door. I might do my next video on Pierre Paul. But there's a good chance that he ends up being a Giant. Oh my God. I just feel awful still. I did not sleep at all last night. That's how terrible I felt. So I mean, the Giants could really use linebacking help no matter which way you slice it. John Beeson's retiring. Their outsides aren't that good right now, so they can use a real veteran presence now that Beeson is gone, because he was that guy. So, definitely the Giants, potentially. Also the Jets. Calvin Pace isn't very good. and he's also getting older. Tamba Hali's pretty old, but he's younger than Pace. So he can come in, still be a veteran guy that could, help out greatly. But the Jets need linebacking help right now. Their secondary is really good, and the front four is one of the best in the NFL. So obviously, I think they're a couple solid linebackers away from being one of the best teams in the NFL and some offensive pieces. Can't read my own handwriting because I'm an idiot. Next is Seattle. If Bruce Irvin walks, they can get a veteran guy in there who could fill a pass rushing role. And he could probably fill it very well. I think he's much better than Bruce Irvin right now because he's had those years in the NFL. So, he's the veteran guy. He's going to come in there. He knows what he's doing already. I think Bruce Irvin was the kind of guy that you need to teach how to play football because he was such a good athlete, which I know a lot of teams take a chance on now. Barcavius Mingo, or whatever his name is, on the Browns. Really good athlete. Tore it up at the combine, but just never developed into a great football player. I still think he has that potential. But Tamba Hali could be a guy that they target if they let Irvin walk, which I guarantee they probably will at this point. He's probably on his way out. So, and the next person I have for Tamba Hali, the next team, Minnesota. Chad Greenway's getting up there in age. They could probably cut him if he becomes a cap casualty. They don't think he can continue to play when he was in his prime. So they can get some really good pass rush help at a position where they can. I think they're like the same age, but Greenway's not as good as Hali in my mind. So he could step in, take a starting job, and be a really good pass rusher and help that team out a lot. He can really teach Anthony Barr how to be a better football player than he already is. Barr is really good. So he can step in and teach Barr how to become a better pass rusher, a better player in general. Can really be like a mentor to the guy. So that's everyone really I have for Tamba Hali, who I really like. I think Tamba Hali, I think if he's the one that goes from Kansas City, because it's either going to be him or Johnson, and I think it's going to be Tamba Hali. So, if he's the one to go, I think he'll find a home quick. He's really good. He's not as good as Justin Houston, but he's still. Those two gave them a really good 1-2 punch type deal. So yeah, definitely a fit for most of those teams I mentioned. And he could be a fit for pretty much any team that could use a good pass rusher at this point. I just put teams that needed outside linebackers along with pass rushers. So, moving on to Derick Johnson. This guy was always a really good inside backer. He was always pretty good. I don't think he, again, was ever considered one of the best at his position, or the best. This guy played when Ray Lewis was in his prime and whatnot. So he was obviously never considered the best at his position because Ray Lewis was always that guy for pretty much since he was in the league. But Johnson's been consistently solid. He's always been good for the Chiefs. The only reason I could see the Chiefs, not keeping him is if they're worried about depth behind him, because I'm pretty sure they don't have much else behind him right now. So that could be their big issue there. And also, he's been a leader on that team. I think he's a captain. So they could keep that leadership around, and that could help a team that's on the cusp in my mind. I think their offense could still use some help. And honestly, they probably could have won that game in New England if Justin Houston was healthy, as with Tamba Hali, because I'm pretty sure neither of them played. So, I mean, if Justin Houston played at 100%, he could have cut up that Patriots O-line like the Broncos did. So, there's definitely a good chance that could have happened if Houston was healthy and they just had better pass rush. But Derick Johnson's getting up there in age, so I mean, I don't think there are really many teams that are like 100% contenders right now that could use an inside backer. And that's the big issue with him, because I think he wants to compete for a title. And out of all the teams that can use an inside, I think that Kansas City is his best bet. But I think he would be the one to stay if they had to pick between him and Tamba Hali. Now, they don't have much depth behind him. There's a young guy sitting, waiting behind Tamba Hali to be their next good pass rusher off that side. So I think Derick Johnson will probably be the guy to go. And the first team I have is Miami. They need some big help on defense, at least. After that front four, they need some real help because their front four is really good. They have some solid pass rushers, and Tamba Hali can be the next in a line of really good pass rushers that they could potentially have. Oliver Vernon, Cameron Wake, Ndamukong Suh is a really good pass rusher. I know a lot of people don't understand that because he's also D-tackle, but he's a good pass rusher. Atlanta next. They need linebackers. They need a front four still. They just need defense in general. And Derick Johnson come in, step in, be an old veteran presence to not Shane Ray. Oh, what's his name? Whatever. The guy from Clemson, the pass rusher, I think. I can't remember his name right now. But he can come in. He can, teach the young guys how to play the game better, be better off the field and all that. And Atlanta just needs linebackers right now. I mean, that's probably the biggest issue on defense besides pass rush in general. Up next is words. Up next is the Giants. Now that John Beeson's out of the picture there, I'm pretty sure he retired. He could step in and kind of fill that Beeson role. He could be their veteran presence and help out the team. The Giants are a little ways away on defense. I think offensively they're still really good. They just need a running back right now. So I could see them trying to target Derrick Henry if he drops, if he doesn't have a good combine maybe. But they could obviously be targeting a running back in the draft. Up next, the Jets. The Jets need help. Demario Davis and whoever their other inside backer is, they're not very good. I mean, they can be place fillers, but they're not consistent starters. So Derick Johnson can step in and be that guy, teach a young guy to be a great inside, which I'm assuming is going to be like Reggie Ragland from Alabama. So definitely the Jets, because those two guys aren't good. Well, they're not bad, but they're not like good. They're consistent, solid, whichever word you want to use. But the Jets can use a veteran inside who's actually good. Next is Green Bay, because I'm assuming they're going to want to move Clay Matthews back to outside. Clay Matthews, I mean, he was an okay inside backer, but he was never as good as he was as an outside. So they can look to move him back to left and bring in a guy. And that could be Derick Johnson. This would probably be his best bet if he wants to win a title. I mean, Green Bay's a pretty good team. They just don't get it done. And that's how I felt about them for like the past 5 seasons. That they've been solid. They're just not good enough. Next is Oakland. They can bring in a veteran guy. You know, Oakland's a team on the rise, I guess you could say. Oakland's going to be good. They're going to make the playoffs this year. I'm calling it this coming season. They're going to be a playoff team. So don't be surprised if they make a move at Derick Johnson to, I don't know, get that veteran who's had a taste of the playoffs, who's won a playoff game with the Chiefs. Won a couple, I'm pretty sure. Shit. My finger slipped. But Oakland can obviously make a move at him to kind of just make that linebacking court even better than it is. I mean, he's a consistent guy who can get it done. He's got it done for 10 seasons, 11 seasons, I think, including his rookie. So he ran back quite a bit. I thought that was kind of good. And last is the L.A. Rams. They recently cut Chris Long, James Laurinaitis, and someone else. I can't 100% remember who else they cut. They cut 3 guys who've been on that team for a while. But he could come in, be better than James Laurinaitis was. I mean, James Laurinaitis was always pretty good, I thought. He was never great, though. He was never, like, one of the best insides. I wouldn't even consider him, like, the top half of the league in insides. He'd probably be, like, middle of the pack. But I never thought James Laurinaitis was bad. I was kind of surprised when I heard they cut him and Chris Long, especially Chris Long. But they can look to find a guy who can step in and be a better version of James Laurinaitis. That's pretty much all I got. I only have to waste like a couple more seconds, it seems. So I could talk about the combine. I think today is running backs, and I think that's the real big position. I think it's like running backs and tight ends today, and maybe offensive linemen. So it should be fun to watch some of the O linemen, see how their footwork is. Some of the bigger guys. I'm gonna be watching Coughlin and Sumel over at Tumsel. Extensively. I think those are my 2 favorite tackles right now. I also like Staley. It's just I don't 100% care for him. I think he's one of the better tackles. I just don't care. So I'm going to be watching Coughlin and Sumnal, or Tumsel, with however you say his name, to see if he really warrants a #1 overall pick. And Coughlin to see if he can maybe push himself into a consideration for a mid-first round, because I think right now he's being graded as maybe a second-round, late first-round guy. See if he can help his draft stock out. With running backs, I'm going to be watching Derrick Henry to see his 40 time. It's watch his lateral speed, because he's a straight line guy. But I'd like to see his lateral speed, how he can move, how he explodes and whatnot. And I don't know. I think if tight ends, I'm going to be watching Derrick Henry and Nick Varnett from Ohio State. Varnett in particular, he can be a late round guy, the Steelers target, because of the departure of Heath Miller. But that's the video for today. I think I might do Jason Pierre-Paul and another defensive end, pass rusher type guy next time. So I'll be looking forward to that probably tomorrow. But this is J-Wax signing off.